Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny E-Commerce App UI inside. Today need to make this here the sign up as well as the login UI screens you need to develop here. First of all, you need to making like this here the custom buttons need to develop these title buttons as well as need to icon buttons also need to develop here. Let's start how to write down inside the script. First of all, you need to create here the UI. You need to developing here and we need to needed assets also need to import here. So need to two assets need to put here buttons inside socials activities and give this here the two icons need to put here and we need to go inside here this property and we need to select this here the original renders and we need to select this here the scales as a single scales and like this we need to setting for this UI. Now then after we need to go inside here the common UI and we need to create here the new files and we need to set here the new templates and we need to give this here the Swift UI inside. Need to set here the round button like this. We need to set here creates and we need to set here. Now this is our the buttons UI. We need to set here the state property where and we need to set here the title as we need to give this here the blank button like here's. Then another need to where give this here the titles as a on press event on press next we need to setting here the this here optionals need to call like this here the blank callbacks for the button click events we need to configure here. Now making here the UI we need to create here the titles. First of all need to write down here the hashtag and we need to set here the space titles padding corner radius like this we need to set here and you need to use this here the color primary text primary app colors like here's need to show here's. Then after we need to set this here the font need to apply this here the fonts as we need to set this here the check here medium 14 and fonts we need to use here for this UI and show like this here. For these titles need to maybe remove here we need to set this here the string and set here the title button 1 like show here and we need to configure here. Now most important we need to set here the frame and we need to give this here the height as a fix. We need to setting this here the height 48 and need to set here the 25 like this round corners we need to put here. Also need to set here the corner radius and on tab gestures need to call here on press event like here. Then after need to set here the shadow we need to set first of all the color need to set here the primary colors with opacity 0.2 rise 3 like here. Radius need to give this here the 2 and also need to configure this here the y also set here the 2 show like similar to designs for this shadow. Likes we need to creatings like here the buttons are the done here same as now need to copy here the another structures for the icon buttons we need to developing here. Maybe remove these here no needs now need to clean and we need to set here M center is good for our UI. Like so need to configurations are the needs and we need to configures also need to set here the padding horizontals dot h. Need to give this here and show like this here the paddings horizontal space, and similar to UI we need to showing here for this data. Now again, so we need to create here the another common UI. We need to first of all the copy this data here, and we need to create here the new files templates. Select here, and we need to set here the round icon button. Maybe image buttons is good. Button flutter inside we need to set here icon. That's why we need to change here. Need to set here icon button. Icon button, and we need to create space. We need to apply here. Set here the icon as need to pass here the string, and we need to replacing this here the image resource. Inside we need to pass this here the name property. Set here icon. Need to remove this here M40 foreground colors, corner radius also need to remove here. Need to set like this here directly. Paste here, and we need to find out here the icon name. We need to Google's icon Google show like here. Now background colors we need to set here the white, and we need to set here the resizable. Set here the frame width 25 as height also 25 like here, and increase this here the frame heights. We need to set here the 64, here 24, and here 60. What look like this here the show for this UI resizable size, and we need to set here the scale to fit like here, and also need to set here the width. We need to set here the 92, show like this here, and remove this here the red shadow too. Need to set here the black shadow. Need to set here the black with opacity. I need to set this here the opacity as a 0.2 like here. So need to showing like this here the buttons are the creatings are the done for the icon buttons. Now we need to set it here. Now we need to start it this here the screen UI. I need to making here inside go inside here the view. Need to create here the new folders, and we need to give this here the name login, and we need to create here the new empty templates, and side we need to set here the give the name, as we need to set here the sign up screen dot not dot sorry port it, and we need to create sign up. This is the sign up here, and also this sign up we need to go inside here the here, replace this here the, and also make sure navigation view inside we need to put here, and we need to set here the now this is the creating, and first of all we need to make this here the vertical stack like here. We need to setting here for this UI. Now we need to first of all the set here the titles, and we need to make sure set here the text. To set here the sign up, now need to set here the fonts as a bold 34, and we need to create here the max left and we need to padding inside. We need to set here the horizontal padding, apply here, show like this here, and we need to set here the space and go tops. Also need to increase this here padding to 15. Maybe manually give this here the padding. Sometimes you need to give this here the manually. Set here the top, and we need to set this here the 20. 20. 30 is good. Like this, we need to configure for the top titles. We need to set here the sign up. Now need to creating here the some height space. Needs to use this here the empty view, and we need to set this here the frame, and we need to give this here the height. Set here the screen width percentage. We need to set here 0.10%. Give this here the height. Sorry for that. Now need to create here the text fields. Before we need to create here text fields. Need to use here the round text fields. Need to create here the some binding properties. Need to put here, set here binding. Need to set here the set state where name string as well as state where name error string where name error show. By default need to set here false. Copy here, paste this here like here. Here's replace this here the email. Set here the password. Also need to set here password like here, and make sure this round text fields inside here. State is password. Set here the bool by default false. If here true, then we have to write down here say is password. Else parts. Paste this here. Need to write down here the secure text fields. Set here the image. We need to put here, copy and paste like this. This is the password field. I need to put here. Need to fix this here the issue, and to show in like this here the passwords. Apply this here, and need to check here the errors. Not found modules. Placeholders. Okay. Need to forget 6. Set here dollar name txt, maybe right here. Txt is good. Txt name, txt email, and txt password. Set here name error and dollars name error show like here, and showing like this here the UI. Need to integrate it here. and need to set here the placeholders. Set here the name, set here the comma, show here the name property. Like this you need to configure. Then after you need to create here the email, txt email, set here email. Maybe you need to set here the true for errors. And email, and we need to show here the set here the error message, like here the please enter valid email address, and show like this here the error message. And also make sure you need to set here the spacing, need to set here the 15 is good for this UI. Maybe empty, like set here. Now same as now need to set here the password fields, and we need to set here the password here, password, and we need to set here the password error and show password error like here's. Now we need to set here the false, and we need to fixing this years now similar to show this UI. And make sure go definitions and minimum heights we need to fix here. Frame minimum height, min height we need to set here the 64. This is our the fixing here. Now need to go inside here UI, minimally show this here the heights need to look like this here. And now need to put this here the already have accounts, so need to put here the right side buttons, so need to put this area. Also need to decrease this here this height, so need to 1% to 0.7%, less space need to put here. Then after so need to creating here the another button, so need to develop here, need to write down here, create here the text. Now need to put here the button action labels like here. You need to set here the already have actions, need to write down here the text inside already have sign in account. And we need to set this here the foreground style, not form style, foreground style. Need to set here the primary text, color dot primary text like here's need to show, and that is max right like showing. And one more things, set here the icon, navigators. We need to put these icons like this show, and we need to set here the foreground style. Copy here, and we need to paste this here. Foreground styles we need to set here the primary app. Colors need to put here and show like similar to designs. Need to making like this here the UI. Now then after we need to put here the buttons, round button, and we need to set this here the title, as we need to set this here the sign up like here need to show, and we need to set here the top T15s space. We need to given this here, then after the space, and need to integrate here for we need to text here. Now need to copy, and we need to paste this here, and navigation like here, centers, and we need to like this here, or sign up with social, and we need to set this here the fonts as a regular 14, show like this here. Now we need to make here the two buttons. We need to write down here the horizontal stack like here, set here the space, also space, and we need to create here the button, round button, rounded icon buttons, set here the icon name, Facebook, Google's, and we need to set here the spacing need to set here as a 15, and we need to go icon name FB and Google FB. Like this, we need to putting here the buttons are the integrated, so need to done here for this UI, and we need to set it here. Now same as need to make here the UI for here the sign up, as well as now need to create here the heights, background colors also need to set here, color background need to set here the basic, maybe make here mistake, go definitions, and need to forget here the change this here the colors, need to fix here, and now need to go again here the sign up and show like similar to the UI. Now same as we need to create here the UI for the sign in, create here the new file templates, SwiftUI view select, and we need to give this here the name login screen, and create like this here, and integrate here. Now we need to copy this line of code, maybe we need to need here, and we need to paste this here. Now need to change this here the titles as a sign up, login, and our login here also need to change login with here the social account. Now we need to remove here the name text fields here, email and passwords. Also need to change here, remove this here the status. Like so need to set here and need to change this here the button name as a login. Need to set here and creating like this here the UI. Need to integrate it here. Need to configure here and also need to set this here the forget passwords. Change this here the forget password. Got your password question mark. Need to set here and also need to make sure this font size need to set here the font in regular. Need to given here font in regulars like here. Also need to sign up here font in regulars and show like this here this UI. Now we need to put here the right sides of the back buttons. We need to develop here. Need to creating here the button, create here the horizontal stack and create here the buttons actions like here. Set here the image system name. Inside we need to set here the arrow. Now give this here the left buttons icons. Need to set here the space. Show like this here. Increase this here the font size. System going to set here the 30 Xcode. Show like here. Also need to set here the foreground color, primary text. Show like here. This is the login screen. So need to done here, and we need to one important parts of the navigation related issue. If here puts here the navigations, like here the navigation view in contents like here, and we need to put here. Show like this here. Copy and same as now we need to put here navigation and we need to convert for these buttons navigation link. Click here and open look like this here. So we need to fix this here the navigation back buttons. We need to fix here. How to fix? We need to write down here the common structures. We need to write down here the one extensions. We need to go inside here the common UI extensions and we need to find out here the view and we need to write down here the bottoms. For the functions we need to write here the bg nav link like here and we need to pass this here the parameters as a context content dot some view is active to write down here the binding bool like here and we need to pass here the return some view like these functions. We need to write down here, need to write down here the returns, need to call this here the self dot background. Inside we need to call here the navigation link creates here the brackets and we need to pass this here the destinations. We need to give this here the content, then labels inside need to pass here the empty view like here's empty view, and is active flags also need to put here is active, and we need to pass this here the is active. This is for the navigations, or we need to configure for the click events of the bottoms. We need to write down here for integrations, like here's we need to setting here, and need to write down here the some where variables nav hides. Need to call this here the sum view, remove here the iOS, need to call here return navigation. Titles need to set here the blank, then after navigation bar hide, set here the true, then after navigation buttons, back buttons hide, and also need to call this here the ignore safe area. Like we need to calling here, and we need to set here for the here's, and without need to call here without safe area, hide without, like here's, and we need to remove this line of code without. Like we need to configurations are the needs. We need to nav hides commands. We need to call here inside this login screens. This which is nav hide. Ignore this here without like here. And copy, and also need to call here this one. Now this is navigation link. Inside we need to give this here the login screen, so need to pass here, and now need to click and working goods, click on backs buttons. Also need to configurations are the needs here. Now need to go, and we need to set here the environment object, environment presents dots modes. Need to calls here, creates here the brackets, bind modes, like this. We need to put here for these screens, and need to go here the back buttons, find out here, and we need to set here the mode, set here short name mode dots, need to wrap value, and we need to call this here the dismiss. Like we need to write down for the dismiss buttons. Now we need to check this functionality, click here of the logins and click on back buttons. Now we need to working here. This is are the configurations inside the SwiftUI, and we need to configure everything. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and some content. If you have any questions, so please write down the comment section, so I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.